saying, because he works over at Walmart, that they caught a guy over there. Woman, excuse me. My wife said that it was a woman. They caught her over there trying to reserve pumps for her friends to come and get gas. They had to call the cops and have her removed because she refused to leave.
Did you assume her gender?
Anyway.
No, that's called remembering it wrong.
Welcome from the Crossroads of America. Talk show, Shooting with Disabilities today. But we also talk guns, politics, or anything else that crosses our mind. Answer questions from the audience, either in the chat or email me at rickslife, as I see it, at gmail.com or spottedrick at gmail.com. I have a Patreon page and PayPal and all that good stuff. It's all down in the info below. So there we go. Got that out of the way. Let's have a look. First in the chat tonight was Sabrina and Rich White, 2 Live Moo, Patrick Henry. That's it at the moment. So they're starting to creep in. Blind shooters there too, instead of in here. But that's okay. Must be working. All right. Start off with my panel. Up here behind my chat, I got Rich White. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Oops, that's my phone out in the living room. Then we got New York Outcast. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Then we got Jason Stewart.
Good to see you, Rick. Good to see everybody. Thanks for inviting.
Yeah, then we got the lovable Squibload.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's it so far. So, good evening, everybody. And, it was, I really haven't got a topic for tonight. I've been lazy. I got to go get my phone here in a minute before it's, knowing my luck, it'll start ringing and I won't be there to push the button to stop it. What was I going to say?
That rifle sure looks nice on the wall.
Yes, I've got it mounted with the wall mount that comes with it. But I had to use a my own stud because I bent one, and it wouldn't go in. I couldn't get it to go straight. I broke it basically, so I had to put a different one in there.
Made in China.
One of the screws?
Not the screws, the plastic stud thing.
Oh, okay.
The white plastic stud thing that was on it.
Okay. Well, good to know. I can probably throw a couple extra in. For some reason, when you buy them in bulk, they don't evenly match them up, and I got a handful of those. So.
Well, then besides that, once I finally put mine in there and I started to screw it in, I dropped the screw behind the toolbox there. So I had to pull everything out of the way where I could get behind there and get my screw. Luckily, I got one of those grabber things. And so I managed to lean down there and grab it and pull it back up. And I thought, oh, man, look all this trouble I'm going to for Rob,
Well, it looks good. Looks like it's just floating there.
Yes. Yeah. I put it just below that picture frame. So I thought, well, for now that will work. But if anybody's interested, that's from randldisplays.com. And it comes with everything you need to display it. Even supplies the screws and everything. So you can either have it wall mounted or on a wooden stand, which I had on it last week. So that's good. And when you do, you have to, I believe you have to spell out the word and. R&L displays. Not the symbol and. But you have to actually spell A-N-D. Displays.
All jammed together.
Yes, all one word. Yeah, okay. Rich White just put the link to it there in the chat. and a 10% discount code, right? Type in Outcast. So there we go. Southpaw RX is in the room, or in the chat, I should say. How you doing? So yeah, so I stuck it up there. It's actually slightly a bit crooked. Because I didn't pull out the tape measure. I eyeballed it, you know, and but it hangs straight, you know. So there we go. I originally put the wooden magazine block on there backwards. And the gun stew went on it. But I'm looking at it and go, that ain't right.
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, either way, right hand, left hand, or however you want to display. So
yeah,
Not non-preference specific.
yeah, non-gender.
Yeah.
You know.
You did have a question out there in the chat, Rick. I don't know if you saw or not. Patrick Henry wanted to know what everyone's disability is, if they have one.
He does, huh?
I have diminished IQ.
Yeah.
Not as bad as Joe Biden, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's everybody's? I don't know if. Mine's my back, you know, and my severe arthritis. Now that I've had my hips done, you know, I said I even went walking around the local supermarket the other day. You know, I walk around the Family Dollar, but I didn't go to Walmart. I went to Holiday Foods, which is about 3 miles closer. And because I just wanted to pick up some vegetables or some salad stuff, and I walked around that store. So, it feels pretty good. I mean, I get tired because I'm out of shape, you know, and I try to do too much, then my back starts hurting. So, but my back's a lot better because now that I got my hips done. But I don't want to have, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to have the back operation. I really don't. Because I've explained it before. They want to take about 5 or 6 inch slivers, I think that's how he described it, on each side of my spine. About 5 or 6 inches to relieve the pressure. And I thought, damn, that don't sound.
I wouldn't do anything yet, Rick, because technically you just finished your hip surgery, so you know you're better, but you're not fully recovered. You know, your muscles in your back from balance, you're walking more, you're gonna be sore more, so for a while. So because you're in a little bit of pain now, I wouldn't jump to any conclusions and schedule anything. You just moment, give it 6 months, a year, then make a judgment.
But I'm just saying, it's because I overdo myself as my back's, because with this brace they sent me, what was it, middle of last year? I haven't had it a year yet. That it's a hell of a lot better now that my hip's done. Now I got 2 good hips. I mean, my back's a lot less painful than it used to be. But I said I'm trying to. I'm trying to overdo it. I said, like walking in, I could have walked into that store and just gone to the produce department, picked it up and walked out. But I walked around the store to see what it had, around the whole thing. And that's what wore my ass out, you know. But luckily, I don't know if I told you guys, they actually carry your groceries out to your car for you. You know, I thought, damn. They even bag your groceries, and the guy who bags your groceries carries them out to the car for you. Or
they'll do that here, man.
In your shopping cart, you know.
Yeah, they'll take them right out to your car and load them in your car for you here. Like, sort of, if you ask or just say you need help. The employees.
I didn't ask. They just automatically did it.
Yeah, when I worked at the Giant Eagle in Pittsburgh, we had old folks high-rise apartment building behind the store, and there were times where I'd end up carrying one of the old ladies' groceries home for them, and because they couldn't carry it.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you carried the old lady.
The only
No,
place that
I'm not that stupid, Jason.
The only place I've ever seen this at, where people, is like in the military commissaries, the supermarkets on base. They have, like mainly on weekends, it's high school kids doing bagging the groceries, carrying them out. Then during the week, it's normally housewives. They're all self-employed contractors because all they earn is tips. So they can make some good money on that too. So the bigger the commissary, the more money they make. Some of them can make, I've known one to make. I've known on a payday, cash. I mean, those baggers make over $100 a day for a few hours, so it ain't bad. So anyway, that's totally off topic, but I'll just mention that. So so now the weather's getting warmer. My arthritis doesn't play up as much. So, but I know it's getting worse because I can even though it's warmer, I can still feel it in my hands. And normally in the summertime, I don't feel it in my hands, but I'm feeling it. Maybe it's not warm enough yet. I don't know. But I'm still able to pull the trigger. That's all that counts right now. And luckily my hands don't swell up, because that would really be a pain in the ass. I might have to cut the trigger guards off, to be able to pull the trigger.
Put a string on it.
Yeah. So Rich was telling me that he went to a gun store and they had ammo.
Yeah.
So how about the rest of you? Is any ammo showing up in your stores?
Let me stop at the gas station, Rich. I'm on my way.
Oh,
seen
man.
some 5.56 20-round boxes for $30 a box at my gun shop.
Oh,
but at least
sitting on the counter. Yeah, I didn't find that shit. They had Tula 7.62 by 39 too, and I think it was the same, like $30 a box. It didn't matter what you wanted.
Put a mask on. Who's robbing who?
Yeah.
There was a couple boxes of 9mm Remington UMC stuff. It was green and white box, but it did say UMC on it, and they wanted $30 a box for that too. So I was curious. I knew it was going to be way more than I'm willing to pay, but I just thought that was shocking. They actually did have some ammo. If you're rich or very desperate.
Yeah. So, what was I looking for?
I don't know.
So I was God damn it. Which, so I had some mail today. And I'm on this mailing list for Dave's Gun Shop. The Wednesday Wonder deal. Today's deal, I personally, I don't call this a deal, but I guess it is in today's time. The Springfield Saint in 223-556 with a 30-round mag, $879.99.
That's about the price of the Saint before this nonsense started.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Doesn't sound too high.
No, it doesn't.
Like
all right.
No.
I don't know a lot about them, but
yeah, I've seen Saints before this nonsense where stores would want $1,000 for them. So that's actually not a bad deal.
Yeah, he says here they've only got 6 of them, and you have it's first come first serve. Cash through cash, credit card. You got to pay for them. There's no layaway. You got to buy them. But it says, what I was going to get into, it says, please let us know if you need ammo with your Wonder Deal. We don't have much, but we have a 50-round box of 5.56 set back that we can sell with each Wonder Deal. So, box 50, they only sold me a box of 20 when I bought my AR.
Kind of odd, a box of 50.
You know?
That's not a good price for an AR-15 at all.
It's not?
Probably not, but I think it's probably close to the average price of what those guns were selling for previous.
That's lower than what the Saint was selling for before all this stuff. Like I said, most stores for the Saint, the Springfield Saint, they were up near $1,000 before all this madness has been going on. So if they want 800 or something for it, that's actually low for that particular gun. Not saying it's a good AR-15 price considering, but for that particular model, that's a decent price.
$1,000 for an AR-15 isn't a good price.
Didn't say it was. That's what I'm saying. This is a better price than what they were before this nonsense, though.
Yeah, but even at today's prices, you could buy 2 Bear lowers and everything you need to build them for that amount of money.
I'm well aware of that. But I'm just saying, for that particular model, it's not a bad price. I'm not saying it's a good price overall, say for that particular model.
It's like having an AR-15 and 22 long rifle.
Hey, this Smith & Wesson AR-15-22 was a great little rifle. It's just that I didn't want it. I wanted a lever action, so I swapped it. I mean, that thing used to came with 25-round magazine. I bought a couple more. And that thing would shoot. I've shot 3 magazines. That's all I had. All 3 of them, one after another. Not one foul up whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a great gun for when the squirrels rise up and try and take over the world.
Yeah, I know. But I said I wanted a lever action, So I go, I got an email from my brother. The one I haven't seen in over 30 years, and he only started talking to me a couple of years ago in email, and because I haven't seen him, I literally before he started talking to me maybe 4 years ago, but before that I hadn't spoken or seen him for 30 years, so I haven't heard his voice on the phone or anything. I've only gone through email the last 4 years, but. I can't remember. It was something I must have said before because he said, I wish I had one of your guns here. He said, a friend of mine got it because he lives in England, got accosted by five people. And I said, well, I said, that's why I carry one every day. For hopefully I can defend myself if it happens to me over here. He's talking
Accosted?
Accosted.
That'll never happen. Here we get attacked.
Yeah. It must not have been Muslims over there, because if it would have been Muslims over there, they'd have thrown acid in his face.
Hey, you got to remember, my brother's lived in England most of his life. So he's, him and my sister are so British, it's unreal. But my brother said he's finally, because he's I think he'll be 66 this year, if I remember correctly, and he's finally gonna retire. Now, I went through this story once before. This is his second wife, but he's been married 3 times because he married his first wife twice, divorced her, then remarried her again, and divorced her again.
Oh, so he's doing the Liz Taylor thing.
Yeah.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
But anyway, his latest wife, I get all this information from my sister because I said we haven't spoken, but she's a Russian, a rich Russian. Her family's rich, so they're they're either officials of the Russian government or they're part of the Russian mafia. They're the only people that have money in Russia. Anyway, my brother told me, he said, "Yeah, I'm going to retire." He said, "I've had enough." He said, we already own an apartment in St. Petersburg, Russia. And he says, "I'm going to buy a place in Florida." He didn't say where in Florida. So he's going to spend the winters in Florida, then the summers over in Russia, in St. Petersburg. So that's what he plans to do when he retires. I said, "That's fine." But I said, "You can have all your guns you want when you're over here." But I said, "You can't take them to Russia with you, can you?" So.
Hey, you know what he can do? Buy a place in St. Petersburg, and he'd have a place in St. Petersburg and a place in St. Petersburg.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what he told me the last time. That was this week. Then he asked me. He said, "Do you have a?" He said, "I don't know what it's called, but he said the gun from the Clint Eastwood movies." I said a Model 29 is 44 Magnum. He goes, "Yeah, that's the one." I said, "No, they're out of my price range." So he said. Then he asked me, "What have you got?" So I listed them all. And he goes, "Why do you need that many?" I said, "Because I do." I said, "That's all I have for now."
Well, this one's for this situation. This one's for this situation.
Yeah. Then he goes. Of course, I told him. I mentioned the AR. He goes, "Yeah, you got that assault rifle." I said, "Absolutely." I said, "But it's not an assault rifle." I said, "It's a semi-auto." And so anyway, he has no problem with it. He has no problem with the Second Amendment. People having guns. He has no problem with it whatsoever. At least I guess some American blood's still in him somewhere.
All right, Rick, you brought up the Model 29. So I'm going to run this through the panel.
Isn't it a Model 29? Isn't that what the 44 Magnum is?
Yeah. I got a question. You because you mentioned it, a question popped in my head. I want to run through the panel.
Okay.
Model 29 or Desert Eagle 44 Magnum Model 19? Which one? Or Mark 19, I should say. Mark 19 Desert Eagle and 44 Magnum, or Model 29 Smith & Wesson and 44 Magnum? Which one?
Well, if I could shoot 44 Magnum without it feeling like my arm was going to break apart at the elbow, I'd go with the 29.
The Model 29s are extremely large for my hands. The top to bottom width, that gun's just a little too big for me. And man, that Desert Eagle is an awful sexy gun, man. I'd love to have one of those. So I'm going to go with the Desert Eagle.
Man, if you think the Model 29's grip is big, wait till you get your hands on Desert Eagle. That thing's got a massive grip on it.
Well, but for a revolver, top to bottom, it's just too large of a gun for me. I'm holding too far low on the grip, man. I just don't have big enough hands. 686 does me great, but the end frames and stuff and just too big for me.
Personally, I would want the 29, but I don't think my hands could handle the recoil.
Yeah, I'd go with the Model 29 because I'd sell it to a rich Russian.
I mean,
he doesn't know how much they're worth, so I could probably sell it for it.
What's the because that was the Model 29. They started reproducing it, so it's got what number does it come under now?
29.
Still 29.
It's still
It's a 29 Classic.
Yeah.
Oh, 29 Classic. I mean, how much do they sell for? Around $1,200?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, that's a lot of money.
Lower.
That's a lot of money to me.
But they're still hard to find. Even though they still remake them, they're hard to find.
Now, that AR hanging on the wall with my R&L display wall mount that I'm using this time to show how that works, So that, I mean, that's the most expensive firearm I've paid for. You know, I haven't got to I haven't paid nowhere near $1,000 for a firearm yet.
See, what's nice is when you buy the firearm at a low price, and then you've had it so long that the price goes up, and the replacement value is well over $1,000, and you can just smile ear to ear because you didn't pay no $1,000 for it, but that's what you could get for it today.
Yep. The general store had a 686 plus deluxe for about $800. We were there today.
New one?
Yep, 3-inch barrel.
Yeah, I might have to look at a 29. See if Dave's gun shop's got one. Put it on layaway. Figure how I can do it.
$1,200, Rick.
What?
$1,200
divided by 3. You got to put 20% down and pay the rest over 3 months.
$400 a month, $100 a week.
Yeah. I mean, see, that's a lot of. 400 is a big chunk of my stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's why I find it. That's why I bulk at buying one. That kind of price. So. Anyway, what you call it? We got 2 new people in the panel. We got Wheelchair Luke. How you doing?
Oh, hanging in there, buddy. How's everyone else doing?
Doing good. And we got the man, the myth, the legend, Patriot in the Dark.
Gentlemen, Rob.
Yeah.
Is probably out there.
So,
oh wait, Squib's here too, so I gotta mention him. Hey Squib. Hey Jason. Hey,
Good evening, Patriot. Good evening,
Hello.
Anyway, Luke, did you hear Squib's question?
No, I did not.
Okay. Smith & Wesson Model 29 or a Desert Eagle Mark 19 and 44 Magnum?
Can I have both?
Okay, so you've seen both. You've had the opportunity to buy both. You've walked away multiple times. Now you go to look, and they're really difficult to find because of the shortages in inventory. And you're there saying to yourself, damn, I should have bought one of them when I had the chance. To hell with the money. So if they come readily available again, if like I've gone to a gun show and seen 329s at a gun show. They all wanted $1,200 for them, stuff like that. So if they became readily available again, but they were at normal prices, which is in excess of $1,000.
Yeah.
And you had the means, or you just said, you know what, screw it, I'm buying it. I just don't care. I'm not going to have another situation where there's another shortage, or the gun shows are canceled, or something like that. I'm just nailing this thing down because I didn't do it in the past. All the chances I had, this time I'm not walking away. But you've only got enough money for one.
Pay for one and steal the other?
Well, out in the chat, Blind Shooters said use Squib's credit card.
Yeah, I can do that.
So Patriot, which firearm would you buy or want? Or
I was joking when I said that I'd sell it to a Russian guy that.
Oh yeah, you already talked about it, so I forgot.
But really, I mean, if you go, just as everybody's seen the 29, and I don't know. I guess a lot of people have seen the Desert Eagle, but that one, only ones I've seen in person were always the 50E or whatever.
Yeah,
I've never seen one in 44 in person. I've never really looked at them, but I think that one would probably have a better resale if you ever did want to sell it. Not that you would, but I think it'd be interesting just to have one of those anyway. But
Defense Dad's got a question. Does anyone know the value? How much a 6-hour P6 is?
The what? A 6-hour P226?
No, P6. The P6. Yeah, if I remember right, that's the German police variant of the P225, but price-wise, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I would say that there wouldn't be a whole lot of those imported into the U.S. Weren't you looking at something like that, Jason?
No, I was looking at the P210, but I'll just say all of those are what, $1,000, $1,200, $1,400 a piece. I
would just be curious to know how many actually are in the country, because that's something that's not in production or anything. That's an older. I mean, it's not a surplus like a Bulgarian Makarov. It's a little bit more pricey.
Oh, it's an old one.
Well, it's
but a 226 is still
like
$1,200, right?
But it's not going to be brand new. It's going to be a police trade-in, most likely. So.
Okay, so if it's a police trade-in, did they dump a bunch of them in the country like the 92S's, or is it something
that's a possibility?
Okay.
So that's why I said I don't know what value-wise they would be, to be perfectly honest with you.
Maybe the first thing is check it out on Wikipedia and see how many were produced and if they're still in production, if it even says that, because sometimes it will, sometimes it won't.
Well, the P225 is. The P225 is still in production, and that's all it is. It's just a rebranded 225. Instead of for the police service over there, they called it the P6, but it's the exact same pistol.
Yeah, because I got a police trade-in on my Beretta 92 Italian. You know, the mag release is at the bottom of the grip.
Yeah, it's the 92S.
Yeah. Nice gun. Fire is beautiful. It looked. I mean, as I mentioned before, I don't think the policeman who had it ever took it out of his holster. I mean, it was immaculate condition. So, yeah, go on.
But Rich, you said it's the same gun as the P226?
225.
Or 225. Okay, if parts for the 225 are readily available, are they completely interchangeable? Because if you buy this thing and you come to find out that this doesn't fit, that doesn't fit, and you can't get parts for it, you might have just, thrown your money in the fireplace.
Nice. He says there's a used one where he's at. How much are they asking for it? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see if that Fence Dad puts that in the chat. But I noticed today Classic Firearms released a whole bunch of professionally refurbished M1 carbines.
Who has M1 carbines?
Classic Firearms. And I looked. They're starting at $1,500.
Okay, if you want an M1 carbine and it's not, you're not looking for a collector piece that you're buying because it's really from World War II or Korea or Vietnam, and you're hoping that it goes up in value and that sort of thing. This is not something that you're going to take on the regular and shoot. Then you need to go looking for an original. Otherwise, just buy a brand new inland M1 carbine. And it's your daily shooter, your range toy, and it's probably even going to go up in value over time if you take good care of it. But this crap that Classic's pawning off, I don't know about that. I would question it.
Well, Classic is advertising refurbished to very good to excellent condition M1 carbine manufactured by IBM 1600.
Okay, so that's an original 1940s M1 carbine. But what do they mean by refurbished?
They've cleaned. I mean, they've the stocks still have the dings and bangs in them, but they've cleaned up the stock to make it look good, and they've re-blued them.
Okay,
left all the markings on them.
If Classic did that, they ruined the value. If that was done at a government arsenal back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and then, these are U.S. government surplus, then that didn't ruin the value. So if they had it done
by James Rivers Firearms or something.
Oh,
James River Arms.
Yeah, okay. These things are not collector's items anymore. This is your range toy. So if you want to spend that much on a range toy, go ahead. but they ruin the collector
Royal
value.
Tiger Imports got them too. So they're coming in from somewhere. There's a couple places that have them.
They're probably coming in from Korea, be my guess.
So it really just depends on what your outlook is. Are you a collector or you just want something to go shoot? There's nothing wrong with either, but depending on which angle you're coming at is whether or not it's really worth the money. I wouldn't spend that much for one refurbished by James River Armory. No.
Yeah, well, they're looking at an IBM. They have those in stock. They have Underwoods in stock, Saginaw's in stock, National Poster Meters in stock.
They sold out of Singers, I think.
Doesn't say who this one is.
Now what?
Inlands. They got Inlands, but yeah, Underwood Code B is sold out. Standard Manufacturing sold out. Winchester sold out. Rockola is sold out. No kidding.
They put out a YouTube today showing them. They showed some that the Underwood with the letter B on them or something means they were made by Singer Sewing Machine.
Yeah.
Okay, see, the different manufacturers, especially some of the more rare manufacturers, that brings a higher collector value. But the fact that they're not original kind of affects that. If you have a modern gunsmith, a modern company, air quotes, refurbish this old gun, this old Milsurp gun, it's not worth as much when you go to resell it. It's like when you go to the gun show and you've got that Mauser that looks perfect. The person's redone the stock. They've reblued everything. Everything is perfect on there. They got a reproduction slings, brand new thing, looks good as new. And they go, yeah, that'll be, $1,200. Be like, dude, I'll give you $2. You just ruined it. It was worth $6 or $8 as it was before you touched it. But because you made everything look new, it looks great, but you ruined the collector value.
Yeah.
By the way, Defense Stat Actor says that the P6 is priced at $579. I'd offer them $5.25. See what they do. See if they take it, and you can always negotiate it up to $550. But the $579 is not a bad price for that gun if it's in good condition. You're going to pay a lot more for a brand new 225 if you can find one. So yeah, that's not too bad of a price for it.
So there you go. Yeah, but paying $1,600 for one of those rifles just I don't have that kind of money. Somebody would have to gift it to me. So
they're hyping them up, that's for sure. They got a very long description of them saying these are the best condition M1s that ever got imported into the country, and they expertly reblued them and everything. They're hyping them up. But
I'm not saying these aren't good guns. They'll probably run all day long, and because they've been reblued and maybe a little bit of other work done to them, you get more life out of them. And if that's all you want is a range toy, congratulations, you just bought a $1,600 range toy, but you didn't buy a $1,600 collector item, unless, of course, you're selling to some schmuck who doesn't know, which there's plenty of people who go to these. Like when I go to antique arms shows, it's kind of interesting. Some of the bullshit some of these guys will say to sell guns. And I'm just looking at him going, dude, you're talking to the wrong guy. This is my thing, So there are plenty of people out there that'll go, wow, this is a perfectly preserved M1 carbine from World War II. That's never been shot. I'll pay whatever you want for it. And the guy's just there going, sucker. But there's plenty of people out there that are like that. That's what I'm saying. Inland Manufacturing in Ohio, no affiliation with the original company, but they've got the rights to the name, makes brand freaking new M1 carbines. So if you want a range toy, just buy one of those.
Yeah. Well, I say Classic Firearms has a video out on it, so if you want to see what the condition they're in. But,
if you're going to buy an IBM, it's going to be a lot more than $1,500 anyway. That or the Rock-A-Rolla or any of those other ones. They're not going for $1,500. If it's original, you're going to be
but if it's been untouched.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So these ones, even though they're $1,500, which is excessive, it seems, you're still going to pay that. I just sent you an email from Royal Tiger Imports. They have some. They've had them for a while, and they're not like the classic or whatever. But I sent that to you, Rick.
Yeah. Oh, Dead Horse says, why does it have to be either collector or range toy? Why so limited to that small little box of uses?
Okay, look, if you're going to be spending a lot of money on this, and at some point you hope to sell it for at least that amount of money, if not more, or if you're getting this as part of something that you're trying to complete a collection, then it's for collecting. If you're taking it to the range every weekend and you're kicking this thing around and dropping it and beating on it and running your crappy, shitty steel case ammo through it and all this other stuff, it's a range toy. And you might go, well, I can do both. Okay, that's great. That's you. Most people who go out and just throw money at this crap are buying something that they beat the crap out of at the range, run the worst ammo through, and can't hit the target at 15 feet, but yet they're high-fiving their buddy because they're a freaking operator. I'm a sniper now because I got an M1 carbine, knowing nothing about what any of that stuff means. So those are the people that go out and buy this stuff. I'm not saying that you can't have a gun that you've collected that you shoot, but collectors will take care of their stuff. And they'll look at what it's worth. They look at the value. They look at maintaining the, original condition of it whenever possible, things like that. So they're not going to beat the crap out of their gun. When I think of a range gun, that's a gun. I don't care if it gets scratched, dinged, nicked, whatever. I don't care if I'm not worried about it. That's a range gun to me. A range gun is not something where I try to maintain it in the condition I got it at least.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I paid that kind of money for that. I would take care of it.
I don't know about the money, man. That's kind of, I don't see the price being all that bad. If it's something that you want, it's a different story if the numbers don't match on it, though.
Yeah.
If it's just a collage together, I don't care if James River did it or not. If it's just a collage together, I don't see it being worth any value. You know what I mean? But because you can go buy a new one, you can go buy Inland or a pair of Ordnance one. If you just want one that looks brand new and hey, I got an M1 carbine, but man, especially when it comes to looking at like an IBM or a Rockola or some of those that are really valuable, if it's not original and the numbers don't match on it, I don't know how. Like I kind of with Squib, you're kind of hurting the value of that gun when it's the rare companies. But if you got like a run of a mill one, they made 2 million Winchesters, that's a different story.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that
I don't agree with that though. Okay, my turn. I don't agree with that. What if there's a IBM that was found and it's missing part of it? Do you just scrap it, or do you put it together and let somebody enjoy it? Because
I'm just looking for the $1,600 price range. I want the numbers to match it.
Yeah, kind of.
I think those $1,500 prices were last year too. I mean, unless you've seen it different. That around here they've been that way for a couple of years. It's not like they're making that style anymore. I mean, they're making new ones for $800 or whatever
I guess that's just a tie-in.
Yeah, my son got lucky. Was it last year? He got a paratrooper from Vietnam era for $800. You don't find them that cheap very often.
Yeah, and the price is not necessarily relative to when I was talking about the 29 or the Desert Eagle. Both of those would be range toys to me. Okay, if I dropped an $1,800 Desert Eagle and it got a scratch on it, I would be upset, but I'd pick it up and go back to shooting it. Right? I would be really upset if I dropped like my Mauser, right? And really scratched it up more so than it already is or something like that. So when I'm looking at them marketing these original receivers that have been refurbished, I look at that as a collector gun that you just ruined. Sure, you can make it a daily shooter. And yeah, if it's $1,500, $1,800, $2,100, okay, that's not necessarily too much to pay for a range gun. Everybody's got different price points what they're willing to pay. It depends on what it is. It really does. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't take care of your guns at all. I'm not saying that either. I have guns, like I said, that I bought to collect, that I bought to study the history of, and I've taken them out shooting. But I don't take them out every weekend and shoot them. So if I was going to get one of these, this would be a range gun. But I just kind of, at that price point for a little bit more, you can get an original one, and it's a collector item. It's going to go up in value, and I'll put a few rounds through it, but I'm not going to take it out and dump 1,500 rounds through it on Saturday. No.
All right. So how much would a brand new one cost?
We'll just say this: the brand new ones, especially like a pair of ordnance one, might not be exactly the quality of like a real good original one. I've seen lots of videos where they have some issues, or the sights ain't exactly correct, and things like that. But if you just want a shooter, I don't know, $1,000, $1,100.
Damn.
Yeah, last time I saw an M1 carbine at the gun show where I was actually looking at one was about 2 years ago, and I want to say it was like $800 or $900. Now, last time I was at the show when I picked up them Japanese rifles, I didn't even look at any. I wasn't there for that. I started looking at other guns and said, nope, I'm going to get sidetracked and I'm going to lose focus. So I just kind of focused on one particular type. But I understand that. Okay, you guys have to understand how Classic works. Those guys, you were talking in the pre-chat about price gouging on gas. Classic Firearms, even though I bought a lot of stuff from them and I'll continue to buy from them from time to time, I guess I can't really call it price gouging because it's capitalism. But damn, I remember when they were a lot more, I guess you could say, customer friendly and fair on their pricing. And now they run the place like a bunch of Wall Street stock traders, really. I don't know. As much business as I've given them, I don't like them. I don't like the way they run their business, and I've let them know that too.
You know, with the milsurps like that, especially an American rifle, that is sort of kind of like on a premium price, or everybody's want list. Like if you were going to look at an original rifle, not one of these, there's things you're going to want to make sure are correct. Like there were, different styles and patterns to those rifles. You want to make sure the sights and everything are correct for that kind of rifle. You want to make sure the parts are 100% correct. That's where the value's at. Just because it's been reblued and thrown together, hey, look, it's like brand new. If things don't match up properly to the years in the plant that gun was made, I just don't. I kind of with Squibb, I don't see the value of it. I think you kind of ruined a gun. I'd rather give you the money for an original Rockola or an original IBM that hasn't been tinkered with.
And tracking down the original parts to put it all back together as close to original as possible for things like that. That's part of the fun of milsurps if you really get into them. If it's just a range toy to you, then it really doesn't matter. And it really doesn't matter.
The other thing is Classic may not have really touched anything up. They might have took a rag and wiped it off and said it was refinished. So I sent you that thing from Royal Tiger. They're starting at 1,200, and they have the Rockarola, the IBM, the National Postal, et cetera, et cetera. So they are cheaper, but I don't know. They've never said that they've got them refinished or anything. And I'm sure it's the same batch that they've had them for a couple weeks now, though. Not like Classic just coming.
And I'm not saying that I wouldn't get something from Classic that James Rimmer Armory has messed with. Like I really want one of those BM59s, and all of those they're sending over to James River. All right, but that's more of a range toy to me. Yeah, I want it for collecting, and I would be checking out to see how original it was. And I don't know if James River is what exactly their involvement other than marking up the price so Ben can make his wallet fatter. But that's about the only way you're going to get a BM59 unless you buy one from a private owner, which I've considered as well. And depending on what was available, if I happen to go to Antique Arms Show and there was a BM59 there for $100 or $200 more than what Classic wanted for it, I'm buying it at Antique Arms. But it's just, I guess it's just a matter of perspective. I'm not, if all of you guys on the panel go out and buy one of these, and you just want to take them to the range and shoot with them, you're not going to hear a word out of me. But if you say, hey, now I can flip this thing for another $500, I'm going to start laughing.
Well, in the chat, Dead Horse says a non-functioning M1 carbine that has been welded and plugged go for $750. And then he goes,
what would you want one of those for?
I don't know.
A wall hanger, Rob. You got to make a mount for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and he also goes, here we go. I don't think Squib realizes that a good condition Winchester carbine goes for $4,000. So this is a chance for someone to get one that is in good condition and looks good for $1,500.
Two different perspectives, man. Two different. You're allowed to have yours.
Yeah.
You want me to email you a link to the show? Come on. I don't care. It's just my opinion. It's just like some people will say, I ain't paying more than $1,000 for a gun. I get it. Some people will say I ain't paying more than $500 for a gun. That's their limit. Or I would go outside of my comfort zone to buy this because I want this so bad. Because I've always wanted to own one, or it would the cool factor or the collector factor or whatever it is, right? We've all got different reasons.
Oh yeah.
But I don't look at this as, if I'm going to get an M1 carbine, I'm either going to get a brand spanking new one that's a range toy, or I'm going to buy an original and it's for collecting. This one, the way they market this stuff, you're buying a range toy, but they're making it sound like you're getting a collector's item.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. But as you were just saying there, because I mean, for somebody like me who wastes money all my life, right? I mean, paying my average is around, I don't want to pay more than $600 for a firearm. Because that's being on the income I'm on, that's what I can afford, So that's the way I'm looking at it anyway.
Hey, man, it's better than a High Point.
Yeah. Hey, High Points work.
Is Rob still hiding on here, or did I scare him off?
No, Rob's here.
I got a question for you, not to change the subject, if I can stick it in here somewhere.
You going?
Okay.
Rob,
21.
Yeah. He's here.
21 boxes, unopened boxes of wood snapped together, non-gluing flooring, right? Like a walnut, a little bit darker maybe. That's 21 boxes and all the underlay. What would you pay for them? They're the 6mm, so the thicker stuff. Come on, you're supposed to know the answer to this.
Off the top of my head, I don't know. It depends. I mean, I honestly try to avoid that.
But
now, are these for walking on every day, or are these for collecting? Because there's a different.
Would depend. Well, it depends on how many square foot per box. Because some brands are like
for the total
together.
Yeah.
Now, is this for walking on or walking on without your shoes on?
It's just for sitting and looking at, I think.
You can only walk on them with slippers or your socks.
No, it's got to be socks that are made out of that material that they make those white gloves out of for handling antiques.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, there's a difference between brands and whatnot. So.
Oh yeah.
Lowe's right now runs $4 to a little over $5 per square yard.
So there you go.
What's a yard? I'm American.
Oh,
Sorry.
I will say this: I found out today at my work. I do construction. Last year we had problems with we couldn't get windows. The factories were all on back order, and we had problems
Still
with
having the problems.
kitchen cabinets, and plywood went up, pressboard went up, 2x4s went up. Went to a neighborhood today to work at that I only work at maybe a few times a month, but I go there and there's no garage doors. You know what I mean? And like there's $20,000 worth of cabinets sitting there in the garage with no garage door or nothing. And I'm like, what's up with the garage doors? 27-week back order on garage doors. That's 6 months, man.
yeah.
And then they said cabinets are on back order. I drove all over the other day trying to get polyurethane for my floor. The Minwax brand totally sold out in the state of Ohio. Not any Lowe's store. You can't order it. Not available for order, back order, nothing. Completely sold out. I go to like the Menards store. Said 10 of them in stock at Menards. So I drive an hour to get to the Menards, and I go in there, and the only item in the whole goddamn store that's sold out, the only place that's got bare shelves, is gallons of satin polyurethane from Minwax. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then I go find out presswood price just skyrocketed, I guess, the other day overnight. Anything that's built with a resin or is glued together, you're going to see a huge back order and a huge price increase right now.
Okay. Oh, look what came in today. My charge and die kit for different size rifles. So.
Oh. You got a trimmer for your brass?
Yeah, not a fancy one. I can put it on the end of my drill if I needed to, Well, that's what I plan on doing. But yeah, I got one. It's only, we're talking cheap.
Yeah, I know what they are. They work, huh?
Yeah, I got that right here. I believe that's the one for 223. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, and it's got that little thing on the end that you stick in the bottom in your drill for you can spin it. So yeah, and I only got two. I got this one for 223s. Then this. And how I don't know why I got this. Maybe I bought it because I didn't know what in the hell I was doing. But I have another one. Where in the hell is it? I think it was for a pistol. It was for a pistol cartridge. Is that it? Yeah, that's it for 45. Yeah, because it's actually this thing here, and when you get to 223, it's only this rod that you get. I think. I don't know. I haven't played around with it yet. So I've got everything now. All I got to get is powder and primers. And I went over my cousin's again today, and he wasn't home. I think he's avoiding me. Or he sees me coming, and he won't answer the door. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. So I might have to buy 223s. Yeah. But how much? What are they going for? $30 a box for 20? That's expensive.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you're wasting your money if you're paying that much, but then I'm stealing an opportunity from somebody to go out to the range.
You know, I mean, I've got 3 magazines, so that's 60 rounds. That's all the 223 I got. And I've got hundreds of cases. You know, my Patreons, my subscribers and stuff have sent me bags and bags of 222 brass. I even got bags of bullets, but no powder or primers. So,
Yeah.
Welcome to modern day America.
yeah.
Pickle asked for 40 Smith & Wesson brass one time. I told him, "I'll send me your address and I'll send you some." He never did, so I got a shit ton of 40 Smith & Wesson brass if anybody wants it.
Yeah, so
somewhere anyway.
You know, so I got my eye out. I'm looking for primers and powder to do 223. And but it looks like I reckon I'll get. I bet you I can buy it before I'll find powder and primers. So I don't know. And so that's why I don't really want to shoot the 60 rounds I have. I want to keep them because I got to keep at least one back just in case they come knocking on my door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you need those 2-3 magazines just to hold them off outside for 10, 12 hours.
Yeah.
You don't have to shoot anybody, but if you shoot out the window, chances are they won't get any closer.
Well, no, all you need is a double-barrel shotgun and shoot 2 blasts up in there.
Warning shots. They'll get the picture. Go home.
Yeah.
Rick,
well, I mean, with my go on.
Have you considered getting 5 and 10 round magazines for the rifle, and then taking the ammunition and put it in there? That way, you've got more loaded magazines.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
That's why they have those magazine restriction laws. It's not because they think that you're a danger. It's so that you've got more loaded magazines. They're trying to be helpful. They're trying to look out for you.
Yeah. My son.
More likely,
So you got 3 30-round magazines?
Yeah.
So you got 90 rounds, not 60.
You're right. Sorry, I got 90 rounds. Plus, I got 2 empty magazines too. I got 5 magazines for that damn gun now. People have been sending me empty magazines too.
See, if you're attacked by 90 zombies, you have 1 round for each of them.
Yeah, and I did.
Save one for yourself, man. You never know if things could go bad or not.
Well, no, that's what his handgun's for.
Don't let them take you alive.
I
don't think that's a problem with zombies. They're not going to take you alive.
Yeah. Well, what I'm afraid of when say the police come pounding down the door and they've shot me to hell and I'm dead and I drop down and I got a pistol strapped to my side and my AR-15 there with my 3 magazines. They're going to say I got, the amount of ammo I have to start a war, with 3 magazines.
Well, do it how I do it, man. Once they come in the door, the pipe bomb will take care of the first few.
Yeah.
And then you got time to get a good aim,
To be honest, 1 bullet's enough to start a war. I mean, look what happened with World War I when they assassinated Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah. Well, it only took one shot to start the revolution too. When they tried to come and take their guns. Anyway, it's gone 8:00. So it's time for me to wrap this up. And of course, before I forget, the quiz question, and when it's going to be drawn for the swag pack on the 22nd, so you got plenty of time. Now, and I got a few entries already. What I wanted to know out of the United States Deputy U.S. Marshal, is that what they're called? Bass Reeves. I want to know Well, he was arrested and put on trial, and I want to know what for. So there you go. That's
If you don't know who Bass Reeves is, do yourself a favor and do some reading up on him. He's a very interesting character from the Old West.
yes, exactly.
And they think that's who the Lone Ranger was made after.
Well, and
That's what they say.
yeah, and Clint Eastwood's character in Hang 'em High as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So that's the email me at rickslifeasiseeit at gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com
That is.
to be in for the prize. So with that, I'm going to wind this up. Let's go through the room for shouts, plugs and all that good stuff. We'll start with Rich. You got anything?
Yeah, sorry. I had my phone was ringing real quick. But yeah, Saturday night, check out
304.
Hey mate, shut up.
Don't you need to know what the damn number is?
No, I don't. Sorry.
Fuck you.
You got Rick laughing now. Yeah, Saturday night we do the wrestling show at 9 p.m. Eastern on damn it, what channel is that? Unloaded Media. I'm forgetting my own channel now, thanks to my wife. And then Sunday nights we do This Week Unloaded at 8:30 Eastern. So check both of those out, and both of those are on the Unloaded Media channel, by the way. So yeah.
All right.
That's what I got. Thanks for the invite, Rick.
Thanks. New York Outcast. Any plugs or shout outs?
Shouts, plugs. Have a good night, everybody.
All right. Jason Stewart.
Hey, thanks for the invite. Good talking to you all. I appreciate the M1 carbine information. I hope I sleep good tonight.
Squib, you got anything?
Yeah, the show starts too abruptly when we're having a great pre-chat, and it ends too soon. Should actually run, maybe 2 hours.
I don't know if we could keep it going for 2 hours.
Are you kidding?
Good.
With your fan base? Heck yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll think about it. I will. I'll honestly think about it. So, Patriot of Dark, you got anything?
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Great show, gentlemen, ladies, Squib, Rob. Wish me luck. I've decided to wait until this year to totally finish my basement. So I'm going to be spending big hard-earned dollars on all sorts of lumber, and I'll eventually get it maybe 6 years from now. So wish me luck.
Man, it's going to.
I'm actually making a gun room.
Man,
yeah.
Lumber's expensive right now.
Oh yeah. But I'm gonna buy a bunch of fake wood flooring and it's gonna look really nice though.
Okay. All right.
Maybe. I might need to call on Rob and Jason to come up and help me, but
you might have.
That's how I go. But
all right, I'm going to wind it up. Just to let everybody know the wall I got on the wall my AR-15 hanging on the wall there. That's from rnldisplays.com. Comes with a wall bracket, or you got the wooden stand that you can stick your AR in. And I believe in the future he will be coming out with other things like you could for an AK and or some other gun that uses Glock mags. He's working on it, so just wanted you to know that. Plus, if you order one of these, use the discount code OUTCAST and get 10% off. That made me a good chill.
Great job. Can I throw something up there? Don't forget HR1, which isn't HR anymore because it's in the Senate now. If you don't know what that is, you guys suck. But if you do,
they were discussing it today, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I went to the Senate today,
Yeah,
which
they
is the we the people. If
We
you can
the
imagine.
people, according to Biden, we the people is the government.
Yeah, it's the voting change where they said anybody that does anything with the government is automatically registered, no matter where you
Yeah.
live or
And you
who
don't need
you are,
ID checks and
whatever.
all that.
And
In other words, they want to regulate how each state does their voting.
yes, and you can't forget that they said 6-1, right, for donations from the federal government, which means your tax dollars are going to fund 6 times to 1 of what the candidates raise. So for their little campaigns, so your tax dollars can be funding Pelosi's next little campaign that she has to run in, right? So yeah, pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope to God that doesn't pass. If that passes, our country is gone forever. Anyway, I want to say thank you to the people in the chat for stopping by. I really do appreciate it on this Wednesday afternoon. And as I said, I'll be back on Saturday at 3 p.m. So thank you all for being here, and I will see you all on Saturday. So good night, everybody.
Good night, Sabrina.
Hasta
Bye bye.
Eat a salad.